All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special live edition of the Wrestling Addicts. I'm Jimmy Anderson with Old School Media as well as Epic Films bringing you this show. And let me go ahead and introduce our fellow Wrestling Addicts and co-hosts. Let me start to my right, the great sports Morpheus himself, Big Rich Walker. There he is right there in living color. And great sports Morpheus, and you're a big Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
We'll forgive that.
Which means that I'm a hero, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
Next to him is Rafael Guzman, a fan of wrestling for about a quarter of a century now. Is that right?
That's right, man.
At Lito 187.
Already.
Based on Lita, is that right?
Nah, man, based on me being from Compton.
Okay, cool. No problem now.
Don't listen to the great sport Morpheus.
Okay, he's the one that gave me the info.
Yeah.
All right, and to my left, 13 times world heavyweight wrestling champion in the independent scene. That is Mr. Al Rage Walker.
What's up, Houston?
Absolutely, and the world too. They could be watching on the web.
Hey,
right
that's
now.
right.
I hope they will, and maybe they'll remember you, and maybe they'll be watching your upcoming Ocean.
Smashing some people.
Smashing
just,
some people.
You know, just smashing. Yeah.
Ow. Okay, and to your left is Mike Rodriguez, the longest watching wrestling fan, I guess, on the panel. Is that right? You've watched it for over 40 years. You have experience
Oh, yeah.
in the field, yeah?
Old.
Now, old is only how you feel, I think. Just age is a number, right?
It's a long number, yeah.
All right. Well, all right, guys, you may have noticed right off the bat, those of watching us right now, that we're all kind of clad in pink. It's not to celebrate pick 249 in the NFL. It's actually to...
Okay.
it's terribly sorry. I know we're live. It's to promote a very serious awareness for breast cancer. And that's for the month of October. People are going pink, and that's exactly what we've done here on the Wrestling Addicts. And I decided to go blue and pink because both sexes are equally involved in breast cancer. I know women more than men, but both can get it. So if you have any discomfort in your chest, be sure to get a mammogram, guys and gals, because it can happen to guys too. So keep that in mind. Also, check out cancer.org if you want more information, or you could call 1-800-227-2345. Also want to give a shout out to Jawanza Mosey Martindale of Desert Hot Springs, California, who goes to Desert Hot Springs High School, and they are the Golden Eagles, I understand, and he's been helping out with the American Breast Cancer Society, I believe, and helping raise awareness. He's been going pink for cancer. Yep. Amen to that. And so we thank everybody for going pink, and we've all gone pink here.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you've gone pink at home and that you're watching us live as well as on the web, and a little later on we'll be taking your phone calls, so keep that in mind. We'll do that in the final segment, but for right now, let's get to the big crux and the meat and potatoes of our show, professional wrestling. One person we have not seen in a while and who will not be at Hell in a Cell on this Sunday's pay-per-view happens to be the world champion himself of WWE, and that's Brock Lesnar, also a UFC wrestler or fighter slash.
Yes.
I would put the UFC now first because of the fact that he hasn't been there. And I thought a part-time champion might actually be good for the business, but it's too part-time. He's too devoted to UFC. Rich, your thoughts?
I don't even think it's part-time. I think it's whenever time. It's whenever Brock, or as I call him, Edward Lesnar, feels as though he is lowering himself enough to grace the presence of the WWE Universe with his presence. A part-time champion, I think, would be more like how Hogan was back in the day, where Hogan worked all the main events, but you didn't see him on
house
shows and superstars and stuff like that. Brock just does not exist until he darn well feels like it. And this is one of the things that I seriously question about. First of all, making him a champion, and then to make matters even worse, you give him a prestigious record like taking away the Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. Why would you give a guy like that, who obviously has shown that he's not dedicated to the business? And you see this pattern of behavior where this is not an occupation for him. This is a hobby for Brock, for Edward. So Edward, if you're listening, you need to get back into the ring and actually pretend that you're going to be a fighting champion, because right now you just, as far as I'm concerned, you're just an overpaid fan with a replica belt. So you need to get back in there and get back to work.
Hello, look at that.
You know what? I definitely agree. I think that if he's a champion, even though he's part-time, at least an appearance on Monday Night Raw, SmackDown at least pay-per-view appearances. I understand house shows. Okay, I get it, but at least Monday Night Raw, you defend your title at every pay-per-view, but not to be, like you said, MIA and stuff. So
There's no excuse.
there's no excuse whatsoever.
And see, when Hogan was champion, Hogan was larger than life. So when Hogan wasn't there, it was okay, but he never stayed away, gone so long to where it looked bad, you know what I'm saying? And Hogan's a more believable champion, especially in his era. So, yeah, I agree. He should, and I like Bobby Lashley. I mean, he's a fighting champion. And that's how you're supposed to represent the business. So it makes it look really bad. Really does.
Well, with Hogan, though, the fact is he would wrestle even at the TV tapings, but, they were dark matches. They wouldn't be televised. But he had a grueling schedule, let's be honest, in the 80s.
Yes,
he was dedicated to professional wrestling, even though he dabbled in acting and everything like that.
I mean, but if he's going to be on top, that's what comes with the package.
But you know what? You also got to think that depending on what kind of contract he has, is going to determine how many appearances he's going to make.
Well, of course, when it comes to Brock Lesnar, he doesn't like to work. Right. So obviously he's going to get the least amount of time. He has to show up and still get paid. So there it is.
Mike, let me go to you this time in that you remember the territorial system, obviously. So a lot of territories didn't get the big champions at the time. I guess kind of part-time champions for that territory. How would you compare and contrast this particular situation? Do you think it is different?
It's different, but I mean, with the territories, ignorance was bliss. We didn't know, about the bigger shows. We caught our local shows. We had our own champions, and we were fans of those champions. I mean, so I didn't know there was another world out there. I watched Mid-South Wrestling with Paul Bosch, and to me, that was the end-all, be-all of wrestling at the time. Not till you started watching WWF and and it came to television and pay-per-view that I realized, there's other guys out there. And then I became a fan of them. But at the time, I didn't know. And on Brock, I agree with everybody. I think Brock needs to make more appearances in wrestling because he's not a good UFC fighter.
No.
He's really not. He doesn't like getting punched. He's not very good at fighting, for real. So he needs to stick to the entertainment portion because he's not good a UFC fighter
And
at all.
he puts on good matches. I enjoy watching his matches. I think we could all agree that Brock Lesnar will give you a good match. His match against CM Punk was a great match.
Yeah.
So we need more of that from Brock.
I mean, he's what you would call can be an ultimate heel, but how can you be ultimate heel if you're not there?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine the Warrior was doing it like the way he's doing it?
Right.
No way. Can't work.
Yeah. And, you brought up a good point about not knowing about the business at the time because there was no internet, there was no social media. Let's get into that for a second. What do you guys think about the internet and its involvement in professional wrestling? Has it ruined it? Has it enhanced it? What do you guys think on that?
I wouldn't blame the internet for it being ruined. I blame the people that are behind the scripts, the ones that are doing the hiring and the firing, the ones that if you're not in the clique, you're not in or you're out. That's what's messing up the business.
I blame the politics.
Yeah.
I blame the
agree.
politics and the favoritism. That's really was ruined it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I actually think the internet enhanced the business.
Really?
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time because, first of all, you have an amazing library that you can always refer to.
Free advertisement.
Free.
Yeah.
That's right.
Free
And you have wonderful shows like Wrestling Addicts.
There you go.
Hey.
That's the great part. Yes.
that you can watch online, wherever. You can go to our YouTube page at BTP Sports. Cheap plug. But you have all these wonderful things in addition to the archives. You have a lot of information that's out there that wasn't available before.
Right.
And it forces the writers, well, at least it should force the writers to be more creative
If you hire
because
some
there's
real
so many
writers.
leaks and things out there. It should, but it's just not happening.
And on top of that, you got more of an audience you could reach out to.
Absolutely.
People that don't
Exactly.
have, cable services and they have a cell phone or a tablet, they could watch it on YouTube.
Right.
As you said, so.
Right.
How about you, Mike?
I don't think social media has ruined anything about wrestling. I think the only thing I could think that it would hurt is, as it does for other pay-per-views, where matches get leaked out by people, videotaping the matches
Surprises
live
get
and then
leaked
posting them on YouTube. Other than that, that's the only way I could see them getting hurt by it. But more information is always better.
That's what hurts to me is not only the leaks of information, but the lack of kayfabe now. Remember when there were secrets in wrestling? Remember when you didn't know exactly what was going on?
Right.
There was still some excitement. There was still some surprise, and now the surprise is gone. The magic
Like
is gone.
like an example when The Rock showed up on Raw. Nobody knew it was just top
That
secret.
was the way to do it.
Exactly.
Even I'll tell you what, even WrestleMania 30.
Yep.
The Rock, Hogan, and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
Yeah.
All three of them in the ring at the same time.
Yep.
Exactly.
That was one of the
That was-
greatest
that
things
was
of
awesome.
this generation. Was
Absolutely, yes.
the three biggest icons, I
Yep.
think, in wrestling.
Wrestling history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They just needed the Warrior in there at that particular time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
And even
That
better,
would've-
wouldn't it?
Place would have went nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't you guys miss the days of being completely surprised? Like you mentioned The Rock. That's a great example. And
Yeah.
the example. Because I don't want to say being a mark is great, but, you know, I still miss that allure of not knowing what was going to happen and
I mean,
completely surprised.
when you look at it now compared to back in the day, it's not entertaining. You're not enjoying what you're seeing. You're not getting the feel of it like you used to. You used to couldn't wait to get off work to get home. Monday Night Wars, I got to get everything set up. It's about to come on. Bam, it's on. And you, with remote control, just flipping the channels. Now, I go to sleep on Raw.
Yeah, me too. I almost did.
You
Now,
know?
let me ask you, Mike, how real did people think wrestling was? in
Oh
your
my God. I thought it was growing up. I was for sure it was real. You know, like I said, our heroes. They could do no wrong, and the heels. I mean, when the guy would pull something out of his trunks and hit the guy, and the ref would never see it. I mean, we would lose our minds. Like how, or the guy would load up the boot. Remember loading up the boot and the big stomp kick and. Why can't the ref see this? People just lose their minds in the stand. They hated the bad
Perfect
guys.
timing.
That's
Hated them.
all you had to do was cheat once.
Yeah.
And that would be But now everybody cheats, and there's not as big a pop now.
Yeah, the guy would choke the other guy in a tag team when the ref wasn't looking. Had him in the corner, and you're like,
The blind tag.
oh yeah.
Oh, that's and see, that's another thing. We're not, the four of us, excluding Al Rage, are not in the wrestling business, but we know the terms of the wrestling business. That's another thing.
Right.
As a wrestler, does that bother you that the fans are in on the terms of wrestling, like the words kayfabe, botch, Broadway, even 20-minute Broadway match or whatever?
I mean, they call themselves hyping it up and putting it to the next level. And my opinion about the whole thing is, if it's not broken, why mess with it? I mean, the way it was, and unfortunately, the Attitude Era was the last of you seeing that good quality where you had the bad guy and the good guy and the guy cheating and stuff like that. I mean, it's when I watch the stuff on YouTube and watch what's going on TV now, it's like night and day.
I think the most recent guy that did actually live up to the standards was CM Punk.
Oh yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, that promo that he cut on Raw that one
Oh
time.
man.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
dude. That
For a
that
while, I
was,
wanted to run over him with my car.
yeah.
With
I don't
that-
care if it's entertainment or
That
not.
pipe bomb. That
That pipe bomb
Right,
he
wow,
threw was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much of that was planned. I'm not going to lie.
He spoke from the heart.
He spoke from the heart.
He did. Sometimes
Yes,
they
he
do
did.
that, and Vince okays it, and sometimes they do, and he doesn't. Okay.
Trust me, it was
Well,
getting
you
ratings.
notice they cut it off when he made it personal. When he
Yeah.
started
Yes.
feeling all the dirty laundry with Stephanie.
About Johnny Ace?
He started talking about Vince and Stephanie and Triple H being the idiot that's going to be taking over the company when Vince died.
Man.
When he got to that point, that's when they cut him off.
No, he got to the point where he said a personal story about the bullying campaign of Vince.
Yep.
That's when they
Yep,
cut
that's
him
when they cut him off. Yep.
But for him to say that he was going to defend the belt in ROH and in New Japan and saying hi to Colt Cabana. And all
Isn't it a high-rated segment on Raw that night?
Yeah.
I think
One of the highest, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And you see, that's exciting. Whether
Very
you like the
exciting.
guy or you don't. you
That
know.
was a missed opportunity.
Yes.
They
Big
could,
time.
they could have taken that and they could have ran right back into the Attitude Era.
The next
Yep.
week they tried, but
Yep.
then it just crumbled. And I think some of the blame comes to CM Punk now because he's not there now, obviously.
He's missed.
He's not there
He's
because
missed.
he's not there
He
because
left.
They're
of
still
politics.
chanting his name.
Oh yeah, and they're trying to stop that too.
They can't do that.
That Jersey crowd, or was it the New York crowd?
Yeah.
After WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's
Jersey. It was
Jersey, man, that
Yes, it
crowd was
was.
awesome.
They were a fun crowd, and just wow. And this has been a fun show too, and we still have more of it. And coming up next, we'll be talking about CM Punk and his departure and how it may or may not hurt WWE and how they may be able to recover. And that's all coming up when Wrestling Addicts Live returns right after this message. Stay with us.
To see in action. We're talking about the most apt description, however, is the wild man from the Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher. And Abdullah the Butcher not even waiting for introductions. Bruce Tharp beat a hasty exit, and it is Abdullah the Butcher hurdling. He has got young Scott McGee outside the ring, smashed him into a ring post. And it's Abdullah the Butcher just gone berserk here.
Magnificent individual. I remember back to Manila in the Philippines. I remember back to Jakarta. I remember back to Sydney, Australia. Malapita, I remember back to all the exotic countries in the world where this man struck terror. This is my black specimen. Well, actually, his black specimen, one of the most awesome forces that professional wrestling has ever known. He has terrified every arena in the world. There is not a man, hey, Malafita. There is not a man who could stand up to him. And for Mr. Holiday to take this incredible sum of $10,000 to anybody that can pin his shoulders, that money's as good as in the bank, drawing compound interest, because there's not a man in wrestling that can hold this force down. Nobody can touch him. Scott McGee, Florida champion, magnificent athlete, undefeated on television. Today, the strongest challenge that could possibly be thrown at the black specimen, and he was there to stand up to the challenge. And this is only the first step, because I feel so good about what Jim Holiday has done, and he is going to take this man to heights unknown before. So the family, take notice. Blackjack Mulligan, you've been pushing people around for too long. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, you've been pushing people too long. Angelo Musca, anybody else who wants to step forward, gentlemen, Jim Holiday has the black specimen.
I'll tell you what, I think we've had quite enough of this. We'll be back.
And we are back right here on Wrestling Addicts. I'm Jimmy Anderson, along with Rich, Raphael, Al Rage, and Mike. And if you're enjoying the show right now, then we want you to tune in every Saturday afternoon starting November the 22nd, 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's a one-hour show every single Saturday. New first-run episodes will be seen on Houston Media Source TV. And if you're outside of the Houston area watching us right now on hmstv.org, that's where you can look at us. And we look forward to getting involved with some of those wrestler interviews, we hope, at some point, and bringing wrestlers on. And right now we're going to go back to our discussion about CM Punk. Before we left you for the break, we were talking about CM Punk and how great he was for the storylines.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't know that I care for him personally, but he added to that product with his persona of just being, I don't care, I don't give give a darn and all that stuff. Unfortunately, though, he got burned out on the business, and he just left, still under contract, and then tried to sue for his likeness in the video game, even though he was breaching his own contract, which that didn't go anywhere.
That's
and
right there.
he has said that he will never come back to wrestling. And to me, that's a loss.
Never say never.
That's true, but
That's
he
true.
said it. not us. But the fans want to see him back. And you were talking about before the break, the
Absolutely.
New Jersey crowd chanting CM Punk.
They
CM
still
Punk.
chant CM Punk.
They do, but now they've gone as far as to take away any signs in the arena that have CM Punk's name on them. Yes, exactly. Now, let me get your guys' thoughts on that. You think it's going too
I
far?
think
Rick?
they're wrong for that. I mean,
Way
that's
out
wrong.
of that.
That's wrong. You shouldn't let the fans express themselves. That's what the universe is supposed to be about. It's about the fans coming there and being able to express themselves how they feel.
Feedback.
If it's a wrestler that you guys can't get along with and he's not there, that's not the fans' fault. I mean, why should they have to suffer because y'all can't take care of your business and have the real star there? I mean, point blank.
Why take it out on the fans if they want to see CM Punk there and they could come to some sort of agreement to bring him back, then do it. If it's best for business.
Hey,
You said the key word, what's best for business, and I'm surprised that an organization that is still, at least from as far as I know, somewhat influenced by Vince McMahon can't get it, because if he was able to squash the beef with Bret Hart,
Yes.
and Stone Cold left and came back, there was beef there. He's dealt with something like this before. CM Punk is a legitimate, and as far as I'm concerned, he is the best in the business.
Now
right
about the CM Punk signs. I remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin left WWF at the time, now WWE, 2001, 2002, something like that.
Yeah.
I had a Stone Cold Steve Austin sign that I took, and they told me that I can't have it. They're like, they were gonna eject me from the building.
That's ridiculous.
wow.
In some ways.
Yeah, and I'm like, really? I thought that was.
Did you give it back to them or what?
Yeah, I mean, I put it on the floor, and it just didn't show it on TV.
Sad.
So
That's not good.
Yeah, that's.
Now, they didn't really do signs back when you started watching wrestling.
I mean,
Too much, did they?
no, not really. They were home. Every once in a while you saw little homemade signs, but I mean, no, not really. I mean, things were little. The crowd was always on its feet and hooping and hollering, but the only time we had any piece of paper usually is the good thing about Mid-South Wrestling is afterwards all the wrestlers would come out and let us take pictures with them, or
that's-
they had pictures for us to sign.
That's pretty
for
neat.
them to sign. So I had all the every single wrestler in the building's autograph after a while. But
Sweet.
as far as like posters and stuff and signs, no wrestlers really had any slogans like 316.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
So
They didn't do that back then.
no, they really didn't.
Yeah. Well, let's play devil's advocate for a second. If you can't come to terms with the guy, then you're not going to want fans bringing signs that have his name on them. Well, I mean, Rich, we'll start with you. If you were Vince McMahon, or let's say you really had a beef with this wrestler, and people are bringing signs with that, wouldn't you think about taking them away or not wanting the signs or the chants in the arena?
Well, I mean, you
Playing
think,
devil's
think
advocate.
about it from the devil's advocate perspective. You don't want CM Punk to benefit in any way, shape, or form from his likeness, from his moniker, from his mannerisms or anything like that. Because he can still benefit from the perspective of having followers and doing public appearances on his own, and being out there in social events and stuff like that. He can still do that kind of stuff as long as it's not in violation of the terms of his contract, which he's still bound by. So the whole mindset behind that is they like to bury guys that don't follow protocol.
Right.
And the best way to do that is just to stop people from talking to you, talking about you, and just silence everyone.
Let me ask you this, Alex. I know sometimes the WWE or organizations, they actually create the characters for you. They say, okay,
Right.
you're going to be, the Red Rooster.
Right.
And I had to do it.
You beat me to it. That's why.
I was waiting for the plug. So when they give you a character name like that, and they say, well, do they say we own it?
More than likely, yes. I mean, if you're a guy that they created and you had no following and you just came straight off the streets, then pretty much, yeah.
So if
Now,
they
if you-
created CM Punk's name, he can't go off and do public appearances.
I'll give you a
Is that
prime
right?
example of what you're talking about. The Dudley Boys,
Yep.
because they're now Team 3D.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
now here's the fact. Actually, CM Punk did create that name.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I was asking. I didn't know it.
Sure. But they trademark the names, do they not?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think you wrestled under Rage, did you? They didn't trademark that?
No, they didn't. No.
Yeah.
What's funny is they're still making dolls of CM Punk.
They have the rights to it.
Well, I don't know if you guys know about WWE's shop, but they were selling CM Punk's merchandise for slashed prices. I mean, like just to get all the merchandise out. You know, like really bargain bin like stuff, and that is disrespectful, I think, in some ways to CM Punk. But CM Punk just walking out is obviously not the best way either.
No.
As a wrestler, Al, let's say you have a disagreement with a booker. How would you personally, as a professional wrestler in the past, or even today as you still wrestle, how do you handle that?
I mean,
Professional.
it's the company's responsibility to make sure that the worker is happy. Unhappy worker, unhappy performance, unhappy clients. And the fans are the clients. And if you don't take care of the fans, how are we going to take care of the business? They keep hollering about what's best for business. Well, prove it.
Give it to them.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Give it to them. I mean, without, excuse my language, asses in seats, there's no WWE. There's no wrestling.
True.
But is Vince McMahon willing to compromise?
I mean,
From your experience.
you're going to have to come out to a certain degree. You can't have it your way all the time. Especially in these times, at least when the Attitude Era, you had other guys that was in line that you could have put in front and say, okay, he can carry the torch now. You don't have that right now.
No.
I mean,
The
who?
problem with that is just like in UFC, these promoters they've killed every other league out there.
Yep.
So they feel they don't have to bow down and accommodate these wrestlers because where else are you going to go is the mentality.
Right.
It's a promoter's market.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because years ago there were options, but now there are none.
And that's the unfortunate side effect of the fact that the WWE is the coup de grace in the business, because there is no promotion that's comparable to the WWE.
Not anymore.
You can go to Ring of Honor if you want to. You can go
To TNA.
have your career, you can go to TNA and have your career die of leprosy, or or you can go to Japan and wrestle over there and you'll never be heard from in the States again.
And get hurt. They're stiff over
yeah.
there. I mean,
But those are basically your options. So that's the unfortunate thing with the death of WCW, is that Vince holds all the cards in his hands.
I'm hoping that Lucha Underground, I hope it
Yes.
does well.
Yes.
What do you guys think
I
about
think
that?
it
I
will.
think it's
I
gonna
think
do
it
good.
will do well.
I'm
mean,
excited about
I'm
it.
very excited.
I saw the promos of it, and I saw the guys they have in there, and I truly believe it's going to be a great success. I mean, I really do.
I am really looking forward, because it looks like it's not just a bunch of high flying. There are stories behind it. I think Conan really, is he the one running it?
I think so.
Mostly,
that
yeah.
right?
I know he's involved in the creative
Well,
process.
whoever's involved with it hopefully has the experience of having a wrestling background and knows that storytelling is important in a match as much as the excitement of that match and the wrestlers having talent in that match.
Right.
And
You
if
need all
you
those.
notice from the lineup, it was some guys in there that really didn't get treated properly in their career. So these guys coming from the Attitude Era and all this kind of stuff, they know what the fans want and they know what the wrestlers want. So when you put that together, I think, WWE's going to be in for some competition real soon.
I hope so.
I
Real
think so
soon.
too.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
I hope it does well as just like you guys. I'm excited to see it when it finally comes on. My only concern is Mexican style wrestling has never really gotten very popular here in the States. We have some wrestlers now, the Rey Mysterios, and other
real-
Latin fighters that have brought that aspect to the game, but not completely,
Right.
because it just never really translated well.
It's a
So
niche
hopefully,
market.
hopefully
kind of
this
thing.
will be marketed properly,
Yeah.
and they'll have strong storylines like you guys said, and they'll be able to show something fresh and something exciting, and
so.
it takes hold.
The only thing that really concerns me is the fact that Vince, for all intents and purposes, has the media market cornered.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're on I think they're on. I can't recall what network they're on. They have a TV deal, but it's very limited. Like they're only on certain cable providers.
It's NBC station, or talk about WWE?
No, I'm talking about the promotion that
The one that Conan's doing, the
the one that
Lucha
Conan's
Underground?
doing.
Oh, I don't know
Lucha
that.
Underground. Yeah, we'll have the information on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
So that you guys can go check it out. But they're very limited on in their ability to grow into a nationwide TV deal, because Vince has all of the major TV markets in his back pocket. He has all the major TV providers, in his back pocket. So no one
the
can get a
good
big
thing
deal.
about it, though, the good thing about it is the timing. Because of the internet,
Right.
Absolutely.
They can
Right.
explode.
It'll keep them honest,
Yeah.
but you still need some type
It's
of
gonna
major
take
network
time.
affiliation
Yeah.
to get the word out.
You're right. That's the great thing about the internet,
Right.
is that you can discover all these things. That's what we were mentioning earlier.
Right.
I think the bad thing is that some fans are getting too smart and they're spoiling results and stuff like that. I know that's neither here nor there in the conversation, the context of what we're talking about right now. But I think Lucha Underground,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucha
that's what
Underground.
it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah, that is going to be a breath of fresh air, because right now, whenever I watch a WWE show, I feel like I'm claustrophobic. There's not much room to breathe. But this is going to be a whole new, not a whole new experience, but a much different.
I think it's like a revived experience.
Exactly.
It kind of reminds me like of the cruiserweight / light heavyweight
Right.
/ ECW kind of sort
Right.
of
A
wrestling.
good mixture. I think,
Exactly,
what we're
because
gonna get with
we really haven't had a kind of like you said, like lucha libre, Mexican style wrestling. I think after Eddie Guerrero passed away, it kind of went
it
down.
died.
Big time.
Yeah.
So, but I think this is good. And then you have formerly known as John Morrison.
John Morrison,
He's
yeah.
there as Johnny Mundo.
Yep,
Mundo.
yep.
And he's a great
He's a
wrestler.
good wrestler. Yes.
He's awesome.
They didn't use him properly at all.
No.
I mean, it was just a
Politics.
tragic loss to lose that guy like that.
Yep.
I mean, you're gonna lose him and keep the Miz? Please.
Not a Miz fan.
The Miz is awesome.
well,
Miz
that's,
is
Am I
what?
the only Miz fan here?
Yep.
I better, I'd better
You
move
are
back
definitely
here.
blind.
While they go, no.
The Miz is good on the mic though. We got to give him credit.
No.
Yes, he is.
No.
He's corny.
He sucks.
He's awesome.
He sucks. He sucks. Anytime you're in the ring with The Rock, main event, WrestleMania, and you still mid-card guy, he sucks. It gets no bigger than that.
It's a matter of
Sucks.
opinion.
Matter of opinion. Well,
Miz, you suck. Okay. Period.
say it one more
Miz,
time. Now you're on camera.
Al Walker.
Yeah, you suck.
Okay, there you go.
You don't like it? I got some of these for where you sneeze.
All right.
Hello.
No, I think the Miz is, as he says, awesome.
I think the
He thinks he's awesome.
I think he's
So
awesome.
does,
I
I
think
think
the
he
Miz. I
his
think
mom
the
does
Miz
too.
is actually an abbreviation. The Miz is short for the miserable.
Oh, yeah,
Or
I
terrible.
agree. You got my vote.
You need to
Misery
take your
of
sorry
watching
behind
him.
back to what was the goofy reality show he was on MTV? You need to go back there.
Oh,
Real World?
Wrestling
Yeah,
Society?
you wouldn't be
Oh.
I think
champion.
it
You wouldn't be
was-
champion on that
I
reality
think it was
show.
called Turn It Off. Turn
Yeah.
the TV off.
Yes.
Please.
Well, I don't know if you heard what Mike said, but his mother loves him.
Somebody got to love
That's
him.
what Mike said. So somebody's got.
I'm going to steal one of Mike's lines. What did you say last time? Pobrecito?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see how the Lucha Underground is going to completely fail because of the fact that
Right.
we've had cruiserweight success in WCW,
Mm-hmm.
and the X Division was really high flying, no pun intended, in TNA.
Right.
As well as ECW, there was a legendary series of matches with Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko.
Mm-hmm.
They had we even have a videotape of all those matches.
Yeah, those are great technical matches.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, great technical matches, and Dean Malenko, not the greatest mic skills,
No.
but
Great wrestler.
Just a
yeah,
great
great
wrestler.
Master technician in there.
yeah, he can make up for it with just his aura and his persona, don't you guys think?
Yeah. But the key to Lucha Underground is going to be the storylines.
Yeah.
That's going to make
Yes.
or break it.
Absolutely. TNA doesn't have that much.
And Conan is just is great. He's kind of like the Hispanic version of Paul Heyman, in my
I agree.
opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, isn't that what's kind of killing TNA right now? Lack of good storylines and talent, maybe in some
They got
ways.
talent, just the
Use it.
storylines are just not connecting.
The creative is not there.
Mm-hmm.
No. And see, that's supposed to be the alternative to WWE. But it's not really very much of an alternative right now. And that's why we need something like Lucha Underground to succeed. And we're going to take a break right here, and we're going to talk more about wrestling right here on Wrestling Addicts Live when we return after this message. Stay with us. Hey everyone, I'm Jimmy Anderson, the host of Wrestling Addicts, right here on this station every single week. I'll be joined by Rafael Guzman, as well as Big Al Rage Walker. And we're going to be here. Wait a second, there's somebody coming on the set. Who are you? Get out of here! Man, what's wrong with you? See, that's why I'm a wrestling addict. And I'll be... Go!
Macho man. Freak out, ticket. Yeah, I'm the unmacho man, Jimmy Anderson, sitting in the seat, talking talking to you in the video scope for the Wrestling Addicts here. Sitting next to me is the big Hulk Reach Walker. Dig it!
Well, let me tell you something, brother. You're gonna sit down in your chair every week and you're gonna tune in to Wrestling Addicts because we give you the best coverage out there, brother, about everything involving the squared circle and anything involving the industry. You're gonna watch this show and you're gonna get the best in the business, brother. You can guarantee you that.
You don't watch, I'll give you an elbow drop so bad it'll broke your throat just like I did Ricky Steamboat. Yeah, and if Rafael Guzman and Outrage Walker are out there, you guys better be watching this too because you are fellow wrestling addicts just like me, the unmacho man Jimmy Anderson, right here on Wrestling Addicts on this station. Dig it!
How y'all doing? I'm Outrage Walker, 13-time world independent heavyweight champion. You know, throughout the years, I fought some tough opponents, but there's one opponent out there I'm gonna need you guys' help on, and that's breast cancer. All the information that you're gonna need to join me in this fight is on the screen. By all means, let's smash the hell out of cancer.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Addicts. I'm still the unmacho man, Jimmy Anderson.
Oh yeah!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And even though the month of October is coming to an end, that doesn't mean the fight for breast cancer is coming to an end. So you guys please take heed and go pink and raise awareness for breast cancer. Yep. And let's talk a little bit just quickly about the social media of Wrestling Addicts. And we'll have the phone number right there. And that's going to come up in the next segment. So don't call just yet. Call in our final segment of the show. That's coming up a little later. But keep in mind on Facebook, we are the Wrestling Addicts Show. And on Twitter, it's at Wrestling Addicts, as you see there on your screen. And we hope to get a lot of followers. Right now, I think we're at about 187 the last I checked. We're getting close to 200, so keep that in mind. All right, so Sunday night, it's Hell in a Cell.
Oh, yes.
pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you guys are excited. Huh?
I am.
Oh, you're excited?
Very excited.
And although your subscription to the network ran out, you're gonna
I'm renewing it tonight.
You're going to renew it?
I didn't know it ran out.
Yeah, I didn't know, huh? Yeah, it's a 6-month deal. And let's see, there are, 7 or 8 matches on I have them written down right here. And we'll go through our predictions and our thoughts and opinions on them. Let's start off with the main event, the Hell in a Cell match between Cena and Orton. As some of you may remember, I think Cena lost the contract on the pole match, and that's why he's going up against Randy Orton. Whoever wins gets a shot at Brock Lesnar whenever he decides to come back to defend the belt. And who are you guys picking? Rich?
I'm going with Orton.
You're going with Orton?
I'm going with Orton.
Why?
For no other reason that I'm sick of John Cena. But I think that, I think it's Orton's time. I think he's the guy that he's an underutilized talent. He's, in my opinion, right now, as of now, he's the best guy in the WWE. They need to take advantage of that. They need to use him. And they're crazy if they put John Cena over Randy Orton.
Lito 187, what do you think?
Oh, yes.
Oh, they
Randy
missed that.
Orton.
Do it one more time. There you go.
Randy Orton, the Legend Killer, the Viper, the Master of the RKO. My pick to win the match at Hell in a Cell.
Or the Diamond Cutter.
Whatever.
Couldn't resist that one. Outrage, your pick?
Well, guys, I hate to break the news to you. It's going to be John Cena.
I'm going to go over there and RKO you through the table.
You couldn't do that in your dreams. But anyway, John Cena merchandise is still going strong, and hey, money pays the bills. It's going to be John Cena.
And how about it, Mike?
How about an RKO, Mike?
No, I had to go with Cena. I gamble. I gamble with my heart, not with my head.
Hold up,
So
tag
even-
team match. Me and you versus them two.
It may have to be.
I got Mike
Guys.
then.
I got some bad news for you because I think it's going to be 3-on-2 handicap match.
There you go.
Oh.
I'm going to have to go with Cena because of the fact that you said he's drawing the money. And I would like to see Orton win. Do not get me wrong, but a Cena Lesnar rematch with maybe Rollins going over Cena at some point for the title.
I would like to see Orton versus Lesnar.
I think, but I think you have an opportunity also with a Cena versus Orton rivalry. If you put Cena over Orton, it's done.
Well, if you,
It's done.
if you
You
put,
put Orton over Cena, then Cena has to come back because you have to find a way to make the Marine, with his lame movie, win. You know, to maintain his stature, blah blah blah, and then you reset the tone for either a Brock Cena rematch or a Rollins Cena feud, you know, afterwards or something like that. But it's an opportunity to put, you know, to at least get another pay-per-view out of this.
you see, I don't want to see Lesnar versus Orton. I just don't, because I don't know who to hate more. And
That's the beauty of it.
no, somebody's got to win, and I'm gonna hate whoever it was. So I don't even think I'd want to watch that. It's like watching your parents fight. I just don't want to see it.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be 3 Cena and 2 Orton, I suppose, right now. At this point. I would like to see Orton win, but WWE is so predictable right now that
that's
it
true.
may end up being Cena. That's my own prediction. That's a Hell in a Cell match, of course. The next Hell in a Cell match, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Yes.
2 of the
Yes.
prominent
Yeah,
those are
members
gonna
of
be a
the
good match.
Shield.
Yeah.
And Rich, your pick?
I gotta go with Dean. Gotta go with Dean.
Dean?
Gotta go with the Wild Man.
Why?
I think that he's just, you know, with all of that, you know, they've done with this storyline. You know, this is really the boiling point of it, and he's got to go over. He has to.
Has to.
Has to.
I am definitely going to have to say Dean Ambrose, and he reminds me a lot of Brian Pillman, the Lunatic Fringe. So, and he kind of has that Attitude Era kind of sort of edge to him. So I think that he's going to win, and I hope he does. So,
Rich?
my pick.
I'm going to have to pick the man in the briefcase. As long as he's
Rollins?
holding that briefcase and they got the organization lined up, there's going to be some type of cheating, and the man in the briefcase is going to come on top.
Mike,
Nah, I'm going with Dean.
you're going with Dean?
I'm going with
Yes.
The
Dean.
Lunatic Fringe, yep.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a wild man.
Yeah, it's another one of those. I would like to see Ambrose win, but if he does, then isn't that going to kind of essentially kill the feud?
No,
Like, you don't think so?
no.
You don't think Dean going
No,
over would
no.
hurt the feud?
I
No.
believe they would say that feud for WrestleMania.
No, because you know why? How about if he does win, and then if there's a rematch, it'll be for the briefcase. That could be that could be good.
That's why I'm going to go with Rollins. I think he'll go over, and I think Dean in the future will probably go over on him. That's my guess. Like you said, the Authority.
Yeah.
They'll probably
They're
cheat
gonna
somehow.
cheat.
Yeah, that's just my prediction, but my heart wants
What if Roman
Ambrose to win.
Reigns was to come out? No, he's injured, but
He's
you
injured,
never
yeah.
know.
That's
I think
Yeah.
it's too soon, but you never know.
Oh, that would be pretty.
Yeah, he's still out.
Like even for a distraction or something, too. Could be interesting.
So that's 3 for Ambrose and 2 for Rollins, I suppose, on that one. And have you noticed any Roddy Piper tendencies in Dean Ambrose? Some people have noticed
to a
it.
certain degree, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe sometimes
Pillman
he
knows.
tries
Pillman-
too hard. I think he need to relax a little bit more, especially on his intro. But he kind of tries to, but he still does a good job. But
Yeah, he does.
in some cases, I think he really tries too hard.
Okay. Now let's go to the U.S. Championship match with the Celtic Warrior Sheamus going up against The Miz.
Oh my God! Do I have to answer that one?
Okay, he's passing. No, okay, Rich.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I just heard the 3 count already, and Sheamus won the match. I'm sorry.
Now, are you talking about the
pretty
3
much
count,
over
or
already?
you talking about 3 count like from
1, 2,
WCW
3.
3 count?
Yeah. Sheamus is gonna go over on Miz before we go off the air. That's pretty much.
Oh
You
wow!
think so?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Kind of like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all that Miz deserves.
All right, Raphael.
I'm a big Miz fan, but I think that Sheamus is going to take that one.
Smart man.
Think so? You
Sheamus all the way.
think so?
Boot to the face, less than 3 seconds. Over.
Bro
That's
kick.
what you want to see, but
That's
what
what's
do you?
gonna happen.
No,
Oh,
remember
okay.
he's got a stunt double.
And that's gonna make it
He's
even
got
worse.
Damien Sandow right
He's
there.
gonna get beat twice.
Mike?
Deja vu. Didn't we just get through dogging the Miz?
Yeah.
I think we did.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll continue. No.
Do you think The Miz, did you say?
No, God.
He said Sheamus.
Yeah, Sheamus, definitely.
What do you want to bet they're going to go heel over a face? I'm going Miz. I may be the only one, but
That would be.
I would like for the
Fair
Miz to win, but I kind of think
That would be
I
an
wouldn't want-
embarrassment if they put Miz over
with
Raw.
it
Sheamus.
would.
That would be.
But look what
ridiculous.
happened with Mark Henry having a job to Rusev.
No, we talking about Mark
talking
Henry.
about Mark Henry, though.
Come on.
I know,
now.
but they did. They jobbed.
It makes sense though. Mark Henry.
That was a good
Mark
match,
Henry, That was a
actually.
believable match.
He's been the
but
biggest
I just-
punching bag for the last 5
Exactly.
years. I mean,
I just want to be different and go with the. I don't know. We'll see.
I would.
it's possible, though.
Okay.
I would put Ryan Seacrest over the Miz.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Okay, guys. IC title: Cesaro, Ziggler. Rich.
Ziggler.
Ziggler.
2
2 out of 3 falls, by the way.
Yeah.
Ziggler.
Yeah. Ziggler's gonna have his Mr. Perfect moment.
How about it?
The King of Swing, Cesaro.
Cesaro. Okay.
Yep.
One for each. Rage.
Cesaro.
Cesaro. Okay.
Yeah, he's
Keep going, Cesaro.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Was strong.
me too.
I
Yeah.
mean, he picked up the Big Show and threw him over the ropes
Powerful
at
for
WrestleMania.
real.
He's
Strong, powerful.
Strong.
4 for Cesaro, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
And that's all right. All right. So for the Divas match, the bill is Nikki and Brie, and the loser becomes the winner's assistant. And Al Rage is already falling asleep. And I guess.
Every time I watch the Divas match, it's the same thing.
So
It's
we'll move on to the
boring.
next match. No.
No.
Oh man.
So it's-
Prediction.
okay.
What's your prediction?
Just real quick, very quickly.
Wait, y'all just. I'm sorry. I
Your
fell asleep.
prediction
Y'all
between
said-
Nikki-
I fell asleep. Y'all said Divas.
Divas matches are a crime. You can hear the police sirens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coming to pick them up.
Yeah.
Okay, who's it going to be?
Merchandise break.
Nikki or
you have
Brie?
Nikki.
Nikki?
Who cares?
Quickly.
I'm going to have to go with Nikki.
That's 2. Nikki for me.
I'm picking the ref.
What about it? You have a preference or not?
I don't really have a preference,
Okay.
but I think Nikki will win.
So we're not. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's 4, and then the ref. We'll put.
Is
in
that
there
all the
as well.
time? Really? No. Okay.
Okay. And let's go to the Divas Championship. Another Divas match.
Again?
Ian?
Yeah.
Divas
AJ
champion?
the champ going up against Paige.
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 I like Paige. I know you don't like her, but I like Paige.
Okay. Who doesn't like Paige? You don't.
Paige. Well, not that you don't like her. You said she's not ready.
She's not ready. You
don't think she's ready?
Know, it's like
Okay.
I think she's doing good.
it's like
What do you think?
I'm going AJ.
AJ. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
I said Paige, and I'm going to keep it Paige.
Yep.
Again, I don't really have a care in
don't
the
have a
world
preference.
about this one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm
So you
going
flip
with
a coin.
I'm going
I
with.
flipped the channel.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going with Page 2. We're kind of running low on time in this segment. So let's go right to the tag team champions, the Stardusts, Gold and Stardust, going up against the Usos. Rich.
I'm going with the Dust Boys, man. I really like this tag team.
They're cool,
At
aren't they?
first, I wasn't a big fan of it, but now I see that.
They got great chemistry, man.
But they are.
Great
They
chemistry.
do. And I think
Yes.
I think that they really bonded and they've
Great
taken things
creativity.
to
Big time.
finally something refreshing. So
Yeah.
I'm going with the Dust Boys.
How about it?
Same thing. I'm going with them too. Gold does and Stardust.
Same reasons?
Same reasons, and they're awesome.
24K gold all the way.
Yep.
Same thing.
Unanimous. It'll be the Dust. I really believe. I don't see the Usos winning in that particular match.
No.
I think that the Dusts will go over. I really
Yeah.
do.
The better.
Gold and Stardust. I think it's just. I mean,
It's going to be a great match.
it's hard to
It
believe
is. It really
Dustin is still wrestling, but he is, and he's doing a great
man, he's
job.
in
with
great
women,
shape.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and gosh, how long has he been wrestling now? Over almost 25 years.
Gotta
right?
be.
At least.
Yeah.
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 20. Yeah, about 25 years.
I never thought that character would last.
Really?
No, I just didn't. When I
Was
first
it-
saw it, I was like, that's weird.
It was a very strong character, though, but it was weird. You're
Yeah.
right.
When I first saw it, I was
Yeah.
is he trying to be a girl? I mean, what,
Trying to be a girl or a guy.
Is that all the matches for that night?
I think so. That's all I have here. And I tell you what, we're going to have to run to a break pretty soon. We're going to take your phone calls right after the break. We'll put the number back on the screen in just a little while. But first, this break, and then we'll be back with more Wrestling Addicts Live. Stay with us. All right, we're back here for more Wrestling Addicts, our final segment. We hope you enjoyed that wheelchair football footage, courtesy of the PWFL and Old School Media. And right now, this is the time to call in. This is your show at this point. We're just here to take your calls and your comments. 713-807-1794 is the number to call, and you only have a few minutes left before we get to the top of the hour. So please call in at 713-807-1794 if you want to sound off on John Cena or The Miz or the Red Rooster or Hell in a Cell or whatever you want to sound off on. This is the time to do it. 713-807-1794 is the number to call. But to tell you the truth, I'm not as excited about the Hell in a Cell paper. There's only 2 Hell in a Cell matches. Mm-hmm. Isn't that kind of counterintuitive to the name of the pay-per-view?
Yeah. That's the
I thought all of the matches were Hell in a Cell.
Apparently not.
Nope.
I guess Chuck mentioned it earlier. It's not like the TNA's version of Hell in a Cell, which is called Lockdown.
Yeah.
Which every single match is inside the cage. Yeah. I think that would have been a lot better, if you ask me.
I think the Divas could handle a Hell in a Cell match. Don't you guys think?
No, I think the Divas need to stay at home. I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep it honest. I mean.
Now, some of them are really good, though.
Natalia's really good.
Not for Hell in a Cell. I'm sorry. Hell in a Cell is, no.
Well, now, what if you had...
We're not talking...
Good lingerie match, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, a nice merchandise break or something like that. But I mean, we're not talking about Ivory and Jacqueline and Trish Stratus and Molly Holly here. We're talking about today's divas.
Or Mickie James.
Yeah.
That's another one you got.
Exactly.
Now, if the TNA Knockouts
Yeah.
were in Hell in a Cell, that would be even better.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be frank. Today's divas class is pretty much a bunch of flight attendants with a bad attitude. I'm sorry.
Okay.
They have to do better. They have to do better.
It's not.
They're not good.
Not just the bad attitude, but they're models.
Yeah.
They're athletic models.
Yep.
They're not wrestlers. That's a mistake.
Yep.
They need to be trained by as wrestlers.
Right.
And they need to put good stories. They need to put on good matches.
Yep.
Good psychology, and what happens.
And you gotta push. You gotta push the right people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get somebody out there that's not ready, and as soon as they walk out, they're champion. Oh, you doing a double kill now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
What do y'all think about Charlotte, Ric Flair's daughter?
I haven't seen her.
She's pretty good. I've seen her on NXT. I think she's pretty good.
Is she ready? You think she's ready?
I think she's ready to make it to Raw. Have you seen her wrestle?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Me either. But maybe the breast taught her.
Absolutely.
Ric Flair, if she learned from Ric Flair, woo!
She learned from the best.
Then she learned from the best.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
Rolex wearing.
What is it? The jet flying, limousine
kick
riding,
stealing,
and the kiss
wheeling
stealing, wheeling
dealing.
dealing, son of a gun. That was Ric Flair, one of my all-time favorites. And we still want to hear from you. 713-807-1794. I wish that we had more knockouts, so to speak, in wrestling. I'm talking about the TNA knockouts. I wish we had more of that and less of the diva-ish wrestlers. A strong women's division is something I crave.
I think they had that during the Attitude Era.
They did.
time.
They had, like I said, you had Trish, Jacqueline, Tori,
Yep.
Molly Holly.
Those girls can go.
Even
China,
Sable.
Lita. I mean, you had that was the
And it was a
golden
great
era of
mixture.
women's
It
wrestling.
was more wrestling than it was makeup.
Right.
It was a great mixture, and they can also act off camera. You
Right.
know? These girls get in front of the camera is like, what?
I mean, you think about this compared to the talent they have today. Sable would be dominant.
Oh gosh.
I mean, am I wrong?
No,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I mean, back then, like Al said, they had the right mixture. They had the looks and the talent.
Yep.
They were great workers. They all had great mic skills.
Mm-hmm.
They were a part of. Sometimes they would weave them into part of
Exactly.
other intricate storylines as well.
Well,
So they weren't just women's wrestlers. They were actually wrestlers.
Yep.
let me throw this at you, Mike, because based on the territory system, they sometimes had female wrestling in the old days. You had like the Fabulous Moolah and Sensational Sherry. I think you had Rockin' Robin and women like that. Your thoughts on the women wrestling back then versus now?
I didn't like it back then because I was a kid. And I said, I don't want to see girls fight because I was a kid. But in Mid-South, I mean, you occasionally got some visits from some female wrestlers. There wasn't a lot. It was strictly a boys club. I didn't really see a lot of wrestlers till the 80s when Cyndi Lauper became a manager in wrestling, Lou
Yeah.
Albano, and she managed the women's champ, and that's when I first got a real dose of women's wrestling.
I got to tell you, I want to see more women's wrestling, and I want to see more compelling storylines, and I want to see different wrestling like Lucha Underground. And we didn't get any calls, unfortunately, but that's how it goes sometimes. Thanks for joining us live. I'm Jimmy Anderson, reminding you that the best addictions are the safest addictions.